Yo, what up, YouTube? It's your brother YT. Wake 'em up, back at it again with another video. Doctors, surgeons, and those that are studying medicine are all quitting. They all giving up. They all don't want to do it no more. Y'all about to learn about the reasons with me. Y'all already know how it goes on this channel. I will give y'all my input as the video goes along. Y'all watch all the way through to the end, and y'all comment below at any time letting me know what y'all think. Family, you already know what to do. And if you're brand new too, thumbs up this video so YouTube can push this content out. Smash subscribe to join the tribe, and ring the post notification bell as well. All right. Let's get into it.
I tried every trick in the book, and all signs pointed to this is not the right job for me. Leave medicine, leave surgery, quit ENT.
My name is Frances May Harden. I'm a 33-year-old ENT surgeon, and I'm leaving medicine for good. No one would ever become a doctor with the intention of leaving medicine. We even see this modeled for us where surgeons operate well into their 70s, and even then somebody has to pry the scalpel from their hands. But for me, over the past 10 years in training and in practice, the disillusionment with medicine has been too great for me to stay. All of us know what it's like to be in the wrong situation, the wrong job, the wrong relationship, and so many of us stay really a lot longer than we know we ever should have. Because it's hard, it's scary. And I had an inkling that this was not right for me when I was a junior ENT resident. But the thing is that back then, I was not brave or creative enough to leave. So I just kept my head down and I finished training and went on to become an attending. The thing about becoming a doctor is that by the time that you realize it might not be the right fit for you, you've already put several years, so much time and effort and sacrifice into the career. It's very hard to leave. I'm making this announcement for every person who's ever felt guilty for even for a moment questioning or doubting their profession. And I'm excited to announce that I've changed. I'm brave and creative enough, and so I'm leaving.
When you get that inkling that it's not for you, you got to really follow that. If not, you will be miserable working that job. You will not like it. And even doctors, we look at them as successful. We look at them like they're courageous. She said she wasn't brave enough. She didn't think she was creative enough to figure out something other than what she studied, which was medicine. Right? A lot of them are even trying to get out. Even my old doctor, he went from being, like the normal doctor when you get sick, he went from being that one to doing weight loss. It's easier on them and you're not dealing with sick people. And when you're a doctor, people look at you like you the most high, like you got the answers to everything. A lot of times I feel like they ask you what's wrong, then they leave. When they leave, I'm like, they looking it up. I always thought that to myself. Like, I think they looking it up, or they pulled a book out, or they went to Google. A lot of times they don't even know the answer. They're just taught to give you medicine. And if that medicine doesn't work, try this one. And if that one doesn't work, come back and we're going to put you on this one. That's literally what they do. They aren't really taught how to cure people. That's not even a profession they're in for real. They don't want to cure you. They want to maintain the sickness. They want to keep you coming back so they can keep their pockets fat.
Yesterday, a video came across my TikTok page of a neurosurgeon who quit his job, right? And after looking at the title, I was like, why would a neurosurgeon quit? He made a phenomenal video talking about his perception of what being a doctor was versus the reality of it. And I thought it was interesting because of a prior conversation I had years ago. He talked about how his motive was simply to help people in need. And although some people did heal over time, the majority of the patients that he saw got worse, and he explained why. And he even talked about, although he was extremely competent in the procedures he was doing, he was unhappy. His final straw was just talking about how the hospitals and American healthcare only wants to keep patients who are sick. And that's the complete opposite of his purpose. And I started to think about a conversation I had like 5 years ago with a medical student who was across seas. And she told me she thought American healthcare was very odd. And I said, why? Like, what do you mean by that? She said, in America, doctors get paid off of patients being sick or needing surgery. But in my country, doctors get paid once patients leave healthy. And it just kind of made me think about, although we have access to healthcare, our healthcare system is more of a treatment-based system than a preventative-based system. And this is also what the doctor talked about in his TikTok. He wanted to prevent these people's illnesses and get to the bottom of it. But the hospital only wanted treatment. And honestly, although medicine is pretty broad, it really made me appreciate dentistry because although we treat patients who come in with pain or want to fix something aesthetically. Although we do give treatment, we also explain to them how they can prevent a lot of the issues that they have. And it's pretty simple: brushing, flossing, overall diet, and just taking care of your body systemically. But it also made me think about the contrast between like a private office versus maybe a corporate office, and how you get paid off of production. So sometimes dentists may overtreat, and this is a known fact, like some dentists may overtreat just to, reach a bonus or something like that. But I will say, after watching that video, it did give me a lot of reassurance, and just knowing that I am following my moral code, and that is just simply to help people. It's already enough corruption in the world, so I challenge all the dentists, pre-dents, or anybody who's healthcare that watches my videos just to follow your moral code. And I want to say thank you to that neurosurgeon who brought awareness and light to these problems.
Never go against your moral code. But see, the thing is, a lot of doctors don't have a moral code. They don't have a moral compass. They don't care. They know what they signed up for, a lot of them. You signed up to be a drug dealer, pretty much. And then the others, they're getting a realization that, man, I was lied to. I'm not helping nobody other than the pharmaceutical industry. I'm writing scripts and getting them rich. And this is why we see this mass awakening. People don't want to do it. The people that actually have a conscience, the people that actually, and I say people, I'm saying the doctors that actually care about their clients, the ones that really care about people, the American people, they're throwing the towel. I watched the guy on YouTube that he's a neurological surgeon, and he's a YouTuber now. So he went to school for 10 plus years just to become a YouTuber, pretty much. And he's happier. That's what it's all about.
PSA, PSA, PSA. I'm coming to you as your friend, your sis, and your lovely advocate. And in context, I am a fourth-year medical student graduating in 1 month. And this is something I've seen time and time again. Nothing irks my nerves like lazy medicine. There is no reason why your patients leave your office with a prescription that they have absolutely no idea what they're using it for. There's no reason why your patients time and time again go to another physician's office for a separate visit, whatever the case may be, and they can't name one of their medications that they're on and have no idea what any of the ones that they know the names are. There's no reason why they can't answer any questions about their health status, about their morbidities, about just anything. Lazy medicine is really, really becoming more of a thing you see nowadays. And I understand, I get it. It's primary care is becoming diluted. You're overworked, you're underpaid, you're slammed with patients, you have 15 minutes for an encounter, you don't have time to explain things. But there's absolutely no reason why these patients have absolutely no idea what is going on. This issue is twofold. There's no reason, one, why healthcare providers are not explaining to their patients exactly what they're doing for them, why they're giving them the medication, how long they're supposed, there's no reason why these things aren't being explained. And as a patient, it's your own responsibility to take account for your health and to be your own biggest advocate. Unfortunately, not everyone has someone in medicine, like a family member in medicine, a friend, or someone they can call or ask if they have questions. And doctors can be very hard to reach outside of the little short window you have with them. You as a patient need to make sure you are doing yourself a service by asking all the questions you need to know within your visit. Why do you not know any of the medications you're on? Why can you not name a single medication you're on? Why do you not know why your doctor prescribed you any, oh, it's just for my heart. Okay, what problem do you have? What is wrong with your heart? Do you have congestive heart failure? Have you had a heart attack? Why are you on this blood thinner? I don't remember. I think some time ago they told me it might be beneficial. Help us help you. This issue is twofold. Lazy medicine starts with the physician and ends with the patient, and it's like a consistent cycle. It's a consistent cycle that's not going to end until people are taking accountability for themselves. If something was to happen to you, your physician is going to go back to work the next day and they're going to continue to do their job. They're not going to necessarily fall out because something happened to one single patient, because they have hundreds of other patients that are counting on them. But your family, they're going to feel the impact of your loss or your time you have to spend in the hospital. You need to know exactly what's going on, because you need to be able to vouch for yourself and explain, your status or whatever you may need for the next physician you're going to see. So y'all, if you don't get nothing else out of this video, for the love of God, please when you go to the doctor, make a list of questions, ask all the questions about what you're on, what they're prescribing, why they're prescribing, and how it's supposed to benefit you. Please have a good understanding of the reasons. If you don't really know, ask, Google, Chat GPT, I don't care. There are so many resources out there nowadays that can really explain things in layman's terms that are very easy to understand and digestible. You should not have any idea why the doctor gave you that medication. I'm not living with these excuses anymore. Too many people are dying and are really suffering from lack of knowledge, and this health literacy is just going down the drain. At some point, we have to take account of our own actions. And doctors, the future doctors out there like myself, we need to leave this lazy medicine behind. It's not something that can continue on into the next generation. That is my PSA.
Let's talk about quitting med school. Okay, so I haven't really seen that many people talk about this, and I've always wanted to talk about it. And it wasn't until I saw a video that a first-year EM resident made. Her name's Kenny. Her TikTok's amazing. I highly recommend you follow her, and I'll tag her below. But she had just seen like a video of another med student talking about this, and she offered her own take. And I kind of wanted to offer mine as a second-year incoming med student. I would be lying to you if I told you that I didn't think about quitting. Like, if you're one of my close friends, you know that it's crossed my mind. Like, I literally was crying to my dad today about it. And it's not necessarily because of like the content of medical school being hard. I think, at least for me and like a lot of other people I've spoken to about this, it all has to do with like your life outside of med school. Like, it can be really hard to see your friends like accomplishing career milestones, like such as like promotions and making money, and even just like buying their first place when you're kind of like in a lot of debt, or just not able to have like the flexibility that some of your other friends have, and that can be really hard. I think too, it's like, what am I potentially missing out on that I might have time for if I wasn't in med school? And I don't know, it's like things that have crossed my mind, and I know a lot of other people's minds. And I've even thought about like, did I start too quickly? Because I've started at a time where like my mom had recently passed away, and I kind of just like jumped right into med school, and honestly like didn't really have much time to process everything, if I'm being completely honest. And I kind of used like med school to help me process and figure out like what I wanted to do. And over time, like the feeling of like wanting to be as gung-ho into medicine like went away, just because it was like my weekends were no longer like entirely for me. I was kind of more stuck to a textbook, and yeah. Okay, now I wish I had the solution for this. I'm becoming a second year med student now. In July I start, or the end of July, which is this month. And I'm a little nervous. I've moved to Puerto Rico, and I've been loving living here and being close to my family again and being a part of this new life change. That's the other hard part, is seeing your family far away. That's really hard. But anyway, I was talking to my dad about it today, and like I was like, I'm going to continue. Like, I really do love medicine and like what I'm learning. It's just, I'm going to have to find hobbies to like supplement what I'm doing in order to help me feel like I'm not missing out, if that makes sense. And if you don't understand this, then that's awesome. Like, I wish I was a med student that like didn't experience this. But if you do, and if this helps you feel heard, I really hope so, because I'm a little nervous to talk about this because my peers follow me, and some of my peers don't know I feel this way. So yeah, I think like for me, for example, like I'm starting this like clothing brand that's like surf inspired, and I've always wanted to start one. And I was like, why don't I? Like, I have the time to watch Netflix, so I'll have the time. Like, if I replace that with a hobby that I actually enjoy, then I think it's worth it to like take a leap and do something. And maybe it won't go well. I'm hoping it does. And I have my dad who's going to help support me through that, in terms of like helping run the business with me. But I don't know. I'm like coming up with a game plan, and that's number one on my game plan. Is like, that was always a goal of mine, was to start a clothing brand. And I realized there's no better time than ever, and I might as well. And I can be busy, but I have control of my time, and that gives me freedom. And I hope that this helps you. I don't know. Maybe I'm rambling.
And yo, look, this might be a little off topic, but we went through C19. We went through that. We knew you had to get that to stay in the medical field. I'm going to just put this out here, man. I went to the doctor like a month or two ago, right? Just for a normal checkup. See, my last doctor, she quit after the pandemic. She quit. She was in there talking to me about credit. She was inspired that she met me, and she was trying to find her way out. A little bit after that, I got a message saying that she no longer has her office and she's not working as a doctor no more. But my new doctor that I got, I know for sure he got that jab, because that boy a weirdo. He walked in there like, "Hey, what's your name?" "Okay, nice to meet you. I'm doctor." I'm not going to say his name. "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah, he tripping." His eyes were like this. I'm like, he off that or something. Man, I didn't trust that man. I don't really trust doctors. And he made it worse. So this is my question right here. I'm just concerned. This might be a little off topic, but I'm concerned. Have you been to the doctor recently, and was your doctor a weirdo? My new doctor a weirdo. And I know for sure he got that. I'm just saying, man. Holistic remedies are the best remedies. Herbs are the real medicine. If I'm about to perish, okay, cool, I'll go to the doctor. Your body cures itself. And through herbs, you can cure yourself. And home remedies. Back in the day, I don't know about you, but my grandparents, they didn't really go to the doctor. See, they was in the South. They had all type of remedies, all type of methods, right? I remember my grandma having an aloe vera tree. We get cut. She say, you better go put that aloe vera on you. That's for the cuts or the burns. Nowadays, people trust the doctors more than they trust themselves. You got to be your own doctor first. They'll tell you anything.
3 reasons why I no longer want to be a surgeon. So 2 quick disclaimers before we get into this video. Firstly, this is in no shape or form surgeon slander. Surgeons are amazingly talented, hardworking people. And secondly, I don't want this to impact anyone's personal career choices. Everything I'm going to say is based on my personal experiences and how it's therefore impacted, my career going forward. So for anyone who didn't know, I was very interested in surgery. I had my heart on pursuing a career in surgery when I finished medical school, so much so that I completed a 5-week elective in my final year at North Middlesex Hospital in general surgery, and I was scrubbing in every day. I was assisting in theatre, I was building my surgical portfolio. I chose my specific job rotations in F1 and F2 to tailor that and to get more exposure in surgery. So half of my jobs as an F1 and F2 has been surgical. So I did general surgery and neurosurgery as an F1, and I'm currently doing TNO surgery as an F2. So as you can see, I was a surgery babe. I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. I think the big turning point in all of that was that when I actually started working, I saw the realities of, being a surgical junior, realities of the surgical culture, the surgical environment, like I said, and it just didn't really meet what I wanted for myself and my future. So the first specific reason why I've changed my mind is the lack of patient interaction as a surgeon. Obviously you still interact with patients, in your clinics and things like that, but I think the amount of patient one-on-one interaction you have as a surgeon is greatly reduced because a lot of your time is spent in theatre, and I personally just like having more patient interaction. Secondly is having a healthy work-life balance, and within that comes the duration of training that surgery requires. So if I was to pursue a career in general surgery like I originally wanted to, it would take me maybe another 8 to 10 years to become a consultant. GP would take me 3 years to become a qualified GP, and within that I would be doing a lot less on calls, a lot less night shifts, and it would just allow for me to have a much healthier work-life balance as a GP. And lastly, I think that even though as a GP your knowledge has to be very broad because literally anything could walk through your door, I think it's nice to still have the ability to subspecialize. So I personally want to subspecialize in surgery and be a GP with a surgical interest.
What's up, bombshell babes? I'm currently getting ready to go meet one of my friends out for lunch here in DC. If you don't know, now I am on a work assignment right now in the Bay Area in California. I had to come home this week to, 1, come home because I need to lay my head where I pay rent, and then 2, I needed to do my graduation photo shoot. I'm about to graduate with my doctorate of medical sciences next month on May 16th. Whoop, whoop. Just a little bit of updates. Let's talk about it. Where I'm at in the Bay, boring. What do y'all do out there? If you're watching this and you from the Bay, what do y'all be doing? Because it's maybe because I'm a New York girly, you got to give me something. But my plan is to run up my bag on these assignments real quick, and then I'm getting out of clinical medicine. I want to do influencing full time. I want this to pay my bills. I want, this to be my bread and butter. I'm exhausted. I'm burnt out working clinically. And some people don't experience that burnout, but I'm definitely experiencing the burnout. It can be taxing. Just like anything else. And then with medicine, it's a business. It's for profit. Okay? Don't ever think otherwise. And not for nothing, I feel like, especially with social media, a lot of medicine is glamorized between like the TV shows of like you think that stuff goes one way behind closed doors and it doesn't. And, I'm thankful that I'm able to do something that I once prayed for to be able to do, but now it's just time for me to move on to the next thing, I should say. And people be like, oh, well, what you gonna do with your doctorate? So as a backup, until, the influence starts to pay off, I want to get into a role called medical science liaison. So let me tell y'all the actual definition of it if you're not familiar with what an MSL is. In the MSL, they typically want you to have a doctoral degree of some sort. So whether it's a PhD, MD, DO, DNP, PharmD, you name it. So basically, a medical science liaison is defined as a science role in the pharmaceutical, biotechnology, and medical device industry that acts as a bridge between the company and the medical community. So basically, I would be like getting flown around to different hospitals, clinics, whatever, for whatever pharmaceutical or biotechnology company, being that gap between the company and the providers. I know that I've reached my level of burnout. Like, I'm miserable for what I'm doing. It looks cute. The scrubs are cute. But, like, I'm not happy every day that I wake up to, like, go do, what I went to school to do. I'm just not. And I know a lot of other providers, whether they're PAs, NPs, MDs, DOs, you name it, RNs, what have you. I know a lot of people who are unhappy. But on the flip side, I know some people who really love what they do. I just think that my time is coming to an end as far as practicing clinically. We do need Black representation in medicine, don't get me wrong, or whatever. But yeah, that's just my little scoop on that. But I go back to the Bay Area on Wednesday, sadly. I really would prefer to have a contract in DC. Not gonna hold you. I like to be home. It's cool to see other cities, but like, even when I'm out on my contracts, like, they're like, oh, do you get to see other places and da 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 da. It can be very isolating, especially if you go somewhere where you don't know anybody. I don't know anybody in the Bay Area. Well, I mean, I know somebody now, but like, it's very isolating. You go to work. Well, I go to the gym. I go to work. I go back to my hotel. Like, that's not fun to me. And then like these contracts these companies, they'll be like, well, they want you for 6 months. You think I'm living in Idaho for 6 months? Are you crazy? No. Like, and I also don't take contracts that are in smaller cities. I'm a Black woman. I tell my recruiters that, like, I want to remind you that I am a Black woman. Point blank, period. I have to be in a major city, in a major area with a lot of people. Like, it's not safe for me to be in some little hick, not for nothing, some little hick town. Ooh, now I gotta. But yeah, like, one recruiter hit me up like, oh, we have a job in Duluth. And if you're familiar with Atlanta, Duluth is like right outside of Atlanta. I'm like, she's like, but we would have to get you licensed. I'm like, girl, I'm already licensed in the area, in Georgia, I mean. She's like, no, I think she said somewhere like Minnesota. I said, oh, no, you don't even have to present me for that. I'm not going there. She's like, oh, dang it. And I was like, Martha, I mean, not Martha, but I'm like, Martha, I'm a Black woman. I can't be in some random town. But I'm going to show y'all the finished look. We're not doing no makeup today.
Girlie say she wasn't trying to get lynched. No, that's for real. You got to be careful. Those sundown towns, you can't be out there as a Black person. Black or brown. Well, I don't know about the brown. But Black for sure. You can't do it. You got to go where you know. You got to stay where you're safe at. For real, for real. Imagine being a doctor. You have all of these patients, and ultimately, if you make a mistake, that's on you, especially as a surgeon. Because we know that there are some surgeons out here that they just do surgeries just for the money. Might not even be nothing wrong with the person. And how many stories have you heard like that? This doctor performed surgeries that were not necessary on multiple different people. How many times have you watched a movie where surgeons they was a little off in the head, right? I'm not saying all of them. Shout out to the good surgeons. Shout out to the good doctors. Shout out to all of those. But it was even a movie. It was like a Netflix thing or maybe a documentary. I don't watch a lot of things on TV. But I remember this one. She basically was trapping, right? She was letting people come after hours and get medicine, letting all the fiends get their medicine. Then the same opiates that she was giving to the people, she got in a car accident and she ended up on. You reap what you sow. I'm just speaking on stories about doctors and to relay the message of I understand why a lot of them are quitting. They don't want to be like those doctors. I could never be a doctor, me personally. Drop a comment below. Are you a doctor? If you are a doctor, what's up? Share some stories below. But you know I'm not lying. You know there are fraudulent doctors out there. A whole lot of them. You might be a legit one, but you know there are some that are not.
There are two medical professionals who are catching smoke online right now because they have decided that they no longer want to pursue a career in medicine. And as someone who has made that decision and is literally building a skincare brand right now, I have a lot I want to say. Medicine is a career with one of the highest suicidal rates. So if somebody tells you that they no longer want to pursue it, leave them alone, because there may be other reasons that they're not telling you, deeper reasons. The medical field is known for its toxicity, its abuse, and oftentimes when you decide to reject the abuse and toxicity, you are labeled as weak. Some of you are too invested in other people's lives, and you have placed people on a pedestal on which you should only place God. If someone has a life or is doing something that you aspire to do, their decision to no longer do that thing or to no longer live that life in that way should not impact you in such a way where you're distraught and you're leaving negative comments and all of those things. Because that shows that, one, you were never a supporter, and two, maybe you're doing this thing for some underlying reason that is not actually for you. And that is something that you would have to look into and work on. People are allowed to change their minds. We are evolving human beings, and what serves you in one season may not serve you in another. If you choose a career, you are allowed to change that career, and that seems like the common concept for every other career except medicine. Medicine sometimes feels like a cult because y'all make it feel that way. It is not. We only get one shot at this life. This is not a trial run. So it doesn't matter if you have spent the last 10, 15 years of your life working towards something that you realize this is not actually what I want to spend the rest of my life doing. You are allowed to change your mind. I feel like a lot of you guys don't understand that concept, which is why a lot of us stay in circumstances and situations that are toxic and not conducive for our growth. And other people in other careers quit their jobs. We're like, yeah, congratulations. But in medicine, it's like, how dare you, piece of trash. Like, whoa, what is going on? First of all, it takes a lot of courage to step away from medicine because a lot of doctors are miserable. They don't love their jobs. They're tired, but they can't step away because they are afraid of the criticism. And while the vast majority of people are not posting their lives online, the criticism still comes from your family, it comes from your friends, and it just comes from society in general. So congratulate the doctors who have decided that, hey, this is actually not the life that we envisioned, and I'm going to step away, because that takes a lot of courage, and they are some of the most courageous people out there. I'm literally posting a video on my YouTube about my medical journey this week, but I just want to say, if someone who you admire is deciding that they no longer want to pursue a path that you want to go down on, maybe stop and ask yourself, why is this so? Take some notes. Maybe you're going to be able to see things from a different perspective that you didn't see before. And if it's something that you truly want to do, babes, wish them all the best and continue down the path that God has designed for your life. And no, they did not steal a spot from somebody, because going to med school for them, or for me, was needed for the woman I am today. Going to med school for me and becoming a doctor was needed for me to build a science-based skincare brand that I can create effective products that work for people of color. Opportunities are never lost or wasted. It is just picked up by somebody else. And if you desire to go into medicine, and if that's something that you really want to do in this life, trust and believe that you're going to get in. What that person decides to do with their medical degree has nothing to do with you. And finally, which one would you prefer? Healthcare workers coming to work every single day, feeling like crap, hating their jobs, and treating you, the patient, like crap and never leaving, versus them leaving and creating room and opportunities for people who actually love what they do. Let people live their lives. You're going to be fine.
So I recently left my career as a surgeon, and I want to share that the primary reason I did that is because of moral injury. I love how Wendy Dean describes moral injury in her book, If I Betray These Words, as all of the responsibility and all of the accountability, but none of the autonomy. And that really resonated with me because that just captures exactly what I felt like. I felt powerless. I wanted to prescribe a very cheap medication to my patients, like budesonide, and their insurance company would deny it, and the pharmacy would tell them it would cost them $300. And I couldn't tell which patients had the insurance that would do that and which ones didn't. That's just one tiny little example, but multiply that by thousands and thousands of encounters, of interactions, of trying to either prescribe a medication or prescribe a treatment plan or do a surgery, and to just be met with roadblocks and layers of bureaucracy that are quote unquote meant to keep, healthcare costs down or a patient safe, but really don't. They just drive a wedge, multiple wedges between the physician and the patient. And when we keep layering in these roadblocks, preventing the doctor and the patient from having an actual relationship, that's when we make mistakes. And so how do we fix this? We got to get business out of medicine. Healthcare needs to go back to relationship building, to trust between the physician and the patient. They need to be put on the pedestal. We need to start there, not with the shareholders, not with all of the bureaucratic tasks that are meant to keep patients safe, but just increase costs.
All right, that was really tough to watch for me as a physician that's so passionate about practicing medicine and taking care of patients. But the real hard truth is that Dr. Melfacker, although she took an extreme approach by completely leaving the profession secondary to what she calls moral injury, I think that she was suffering from really severe burnout. The truth is that so many physicians are feeling this way, and I'm speaking about this loud and clear. The loss of autonomy of U.S. physicians is a huge problem, and it is the number one cause leading to burnout. Fully 50% of physicians at least admit to being burnt out, and it's worse among women, where some, are pushing 60% in some surveys. It is a huge problem because, again, a burnt out physician is not going to be capable of delivering the type of healthcare that we want to see. Yes, they're trying their best, but it is absolutely human nature that if you are feeling very burned out, this is where things can go awry. Apathy arises, mistakes can be made, other things can happen. So it's really important for us to address this elephant in the room of burnout. We've got to make changes. We've got to understand that the bureaucracy and the corporatization of medicine, as well as insurance companies practicing medicine, us having to fight constantly through things that have nothing to do with the personal relationship between us and our patients and us trying to make them better, really has to be addressed. It has to be addressed by us as physicians. It has to be addressed by you as the consumer, and it absolutely has to be addressed at the congressional level, because changes need to come, or I am telling you, we are going to be in a lot of trouble. We need to focus again on preventative health, root cause treatment of all of these diseases that are inflammation based. And we need an army of dedicated and non-burnt out physicians that can deliver the absolute best health care to the American public.
Burnout can affect any job, including doctors. If you did not know, now you know. I understand it completely. They have to work a lot of hours because someone has a rare condition that needs their help. And when they do go on vacation, as soon as they come back to work, they have a load of work to do. In 2025, everybody is tired. A doctor is not an exception. But could you imagine being a surgeon? Imagine being a surgeon that removes bullets from the body. Being a surgeon that deal with people that got hit up. Imagine how seeing that every single day could take a toll on you. Imagine seeing even a family member come in there and you're like, man, this is my family member and that family member don't make it. I'm just thinking, like, I cannot be a surgeon. I cannot be a doctor. That seems stressful. And if you do something wrong, you got to tell that family, man, he didn't make it or she didn't make it. I would feel like that's on me. I would feel like that's my fault. I'm like, dang, I did something wrong, man. I messed up. But I see that y'all are burnt out. Y'all are tired like everybody else. It's no exception. The only bad thing is y'all got hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of student loans. So now you have to find something that makes a significant amount of money to even pay those back. due to the fact that you probably didn't pay them off yet, and you know those student loans are starting back. Otherwise, your check is being garnished. So maybe that will be another reason that some doctors stay working a little bit longer, because they want to pay off those loans. Otherwise, their life might not go so well. But yeah, family, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about this video, man. Doctors are quitting, surgeons are quitting, and those that are studying medicine are quitting as well. A lot of people that were studying medicine, they came to realize it's not what they thought. But yeah, man, peace. Drop a comment below. I appreciate your family. Catch you on the next one.